I've been trying to imagine explaining Yandere Dev to one of your offline friends and trying to get them to understand how no one saw it coming that the guy who worked for 10 years on a video game where you infiltrate a high school and murder teenage girls turned out to be a creep. I won't be posting Yandere Sim content on my channel from this point forward. I read up on what happened from Yandere Dev's blog post, and I don't want to be associated with the future of that game, knowing what I know now. There's no reason to be talking to minors like that, ever.
This is a robbery. Stick 'em up. Reach for the sky.
Yandere Dev, as many of you know, is one of the most infamous independent game developers of all time. He's one of the few that would both fall into the category of game developer and lolcow. A lot of this comes down to the development hell that his game has been in for about 10 years. Back when the game initially gained traction, around the early 2010s, a lot of big Let's Players like PewDiePie showcased it on their channels, which generated a ton of hype.
7 a.m. waking up in the morning, gotta be fresh, gotta go downstairs.
That music is ballin'.
A yandere, for the unfamiliar, is typically a female character who has an obsessive and possessive side in regards to their crush, ready to use violent and murderous means to maintain an exclusive bond. This is a trope from anime, basically, and it's captured the attention of people for a long time. In the Western world, one place it was discussed a lot was 4chan, and therefore people on 4chan began discussing the pros and cons of making a game like this. Yandere Dev decided to take up the task. The game played on the yandere archetype, showing a knife-wielding Japanese schoolgirl, an image and aesthetic that drew in a ton of people at the time.
If there's one thing I learned in Yandere Simulator, it's patience. Patience to wait here for half an hour without moving a single muscle while waiting for my opportune target to present herself off this balcony. Oh, only if she dared to actually think about senpai, which I don't think that she would. I mean, that would just be ridiculously stupid of her.
But for the time being, the game was still a demo. So Yandere Dev, or Alex, would keep generating hype through his YouTube channel over the next 9 years. But despite all of the hype and apparently development happening this entire time, the full game has never been released. Add on top of that a bunch of unfortunate interactions with his community, and you have a recipe for like 200 to 300 YouTube commentary videos about what a dumbass you are. Alexander is the perfect example of why lolcows and mainstream success are like water and oil. Several times throughout his life, stars aligned perfectly to let him make a name for himself, but every time he pissed it all away due to his arrogance, thin skin, and lack of judgment. Furthermore, just like Chris, Alex wasn't able to truly grow up, learn from his mistakes, and start taking responsibility for his own actions. This is why, even in his posts from over a decade ago, you can easily recognize the same Alex who is known as a disaster developer today. I mean, this game has so much hype that even to this day, videos announcing a new mode get well over 1 million views. Unfortunately, I think what little goodwill Alex has left is probably going to go out the window with the latest development on the story. About a week ago, Yandere Dev was apparently caught having some inappropriate interactions with a minor. That minor was allegedly 16, and Alex is 35 years old.
Stick 'em up. Reach for the sky.
So obviously there's no question that age gap is pretty effed up, but what's the actual story here? Well, it all starts with a YouTuber named Ali MCC, who released a video in September of 2023 in which she detailed how she had been contacted by a 16-year-old fan of Yandere Dev, who claimed to have been in contact with him in an inappropriate manner. She spent the next few months recording Alex, taking screenshots, screen recordings, etc., and these were then sent to Ali MCC so that she could bring this all to light in her 40-minute video. This was also reiterated in a TikTok video that blew up and now has 1 million views.
Yandere Simulator is officially over. Game developer Yandere Dev, or Alex Mahan, has been caught without a reasonable doubt grooming a minor. Here you can see he admits that this is his Snapchat account. A full 38-minute YouTube video dives down into the facts of what happened between Alex and this child. The video goes in much more depth than I have time to right now and gives you much more concrete evidence. But everybody in sound mind all agrees that what Alex is doing is textbook grooming. The girl that Alex is talking to, named Jane, officially began contact with him at age 9. Alex had been fully aware of Jane's age this entire time. And when he first caught wind of what was going on, he pressured and coached the victim on what to say, coercing her into retracting her statements. Not only that, but Alex made an account to speak on behalf of Jane. The entire situation is discussed in depth on this YouTube video, and you need to watch it right now.
Now, the actual YouTube video was only originally up for a very short period of time, I believe less than 2 days. The reason being that a copyright strike was filed against it. This Reddit post reads, Alex filed a copyright strike using the victim's real name against her wishes. A copyright strike, for those who do not know, is a legal action taken when someone believes that their intellectual property is being violated through someone else's video. And while the claimant listed is the victim herself, this Reddit post claims that Alex took down the video basically to hide the allegations and abuse the DMCA takedown system. And by the way, lying about your information on a copyright takedown form, as in like impersonating someone else, is illegal and it's very punishable by law. So Allie posted saying this, a copyright strike has been made on the video using the victim's full name, though I have strong reason to believe this is not actually her doing. If Alex has filed this claim under the victim's full name, that means he's allegedly now doxed this victim to the public after coercing her into silence. Although I'm aware the victim's name is out there now, I ask that everyone please respect her privacy and keep referring to her as Jane for public matters. This entire time she's wanted to be as anonymous as possible, and I will continue to adhere to that. At the moment, I'm unsure what to do about this. When filing a counterclaim on YouTube, they get all my information as well, which clearly I don't trust them with, and they could potentially take me to court if they feel so inclined to fight it. At minimum, I will be consulting a lawyer and seeing what my options are. The video is out there, re-uploads and mirrors have already been made across the internet, so the video continues to exist in various forms, even if this one is taken down. We know what you've done, Alex. You cannot hide from this. And if this was true, that would mean that Alex is not only an alleged groomer, although at this point, I mean, you guys probably know what my opinion is on this matter, but he also filed a false takedown to hide the information after the fact. And what information would he want to hide exactly? Well, the video was re-uploaded to the farms and I managed to listen through it. It's a lot of flirting between Yandere Dev and this girl over the phone. One conversation in particular is them talking about age of consent and puberty, which is a pretty gross thing to talk about with someone that young, you know, especially when you're 35 years old. But there was nothing technically illegal as far as I'm aware, at least according to Ali MCC. No images exchanged or anything like that, just weird flirty conversations over and over and over and over. Jane. Okay, I don't have a problem with it, but if anyone found out, they would. Is there a way I could convince you? I'm just a year and a half away from 18. Is it honestly that different? I seem desperate. Alex. Yeah, I think about that sometimes. 17 is 94.4% of 18, so therefore being attracted to a 17-year-old is 94.4% okay. Jane. Well, only a few months until I'm 17. Alex. Like, the physical difference between a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old is like less than a 6% difference. So being attracted to a 17-year-old is nearly identical to being attracted to an 18-year-old. It's not really a black and white thing where a person transforms overnight as soon as they turn 18. It's a slow transformation over time. Bro, these conversations, they're getting like philosophical on the age of consent, okay? They're going full Mr. Girl mode here.
Hi, cuties. Guess what I just watched?
Jane. If the age of consent was actually about keeping children safe, it would be 26, since that's when the brain is fully developed. The origins of age of consent laws had to do with voting rights. It wasn't actually about not having intercourse with kids. It was about giving landowners and married people more rights. Bro, what these people... Bro, something's going on here, okay? Something's in the water. Alex, yeah, I know about all that. Yeah, of course, dude, of course he knows, okay? He's been researching age of consent for 30 years, okay? He's an expert. But my personal opinion doesn't matter. Whether or not I think it's immoral, it's still illegal for me to have a romantic conversation with someone under 18. Is it illegal? I mean, it probably should be, but I actually don't know if it's illegal. We're gonna have to get a little bit of a law check on this one, okay? Jane. Yeah, no one in law enforcement will find out, though. Personally, I have too much stuff going on in my house to ever have police near it. I'd have to take down my whole garden, and that would strongly impact my source of income. So I won't be dealing with cops. And just for context, I believe this garden thing refers to her growing some of that stanky green in her backyard or something. So I guess that's how this girl makes her money. Is she like a high school drug dealer? Like what is going on here, man? This is a weird already, like one screenshot in, and I'm just weirded out. These messages, these people, there's something foul going on here, okay? There's something smelly going on in these DMs. Alex. Yeah, I know, but if you ever decide that Yandere Dev guy, you could anonymously release screenshots of some horny statement I made towards you. Jane. I could, but I haven't saved any screenshots, and you'd see if I did. This account has no ties to you, not your name, not your Bitmoji. It looks like a fake account, and you never confirmed that you added me in Discord. I suppose people would believe me just because they can. That's how Twitter works. But there are already a lot of people saying you DM them stuff. It wouldn't have any more substance or validity than the current rumors. Alex. Well, I wouldn't take a trip to the other side of the country at this point in time, and I'm not emotionally available right now since 90% of my time and focus is on game development. So really the only thing for me to get out of this are lewd pictures and videos to FAP to. Bro, stop! No more. No, listen, somebody put this guy on a leash. Somebody take this guy to the fucking dog pound, because this guy just needs some special treatment, okay?
This dude needs to be in a cage. Put him in a cage.
Yandere Dev, I think it's time to get put down, buddy. In Minecraft, just kidding. That's ironic. That's meta irony. That's trolling. I'm a trolling type guy. I actually really support you in your mental health journey.
Hey now, you're an all-star?
There are also conversations about sending images where they contemplate it, but Jane determines she doesn't want to for fear of it ending up in court someday and her potentially being charged as well. Overall, these messages look absolutely horrible, and once they were released, all hell broke loose. Obviously, all of Alex's longtime detractors were kind of validated because now they have proof of him doing something horrible. The voice actress for Yandere-chan posted a statement saying that she would be leaving the project as a voice actress and voice director. Cameron, who I believe is the composer for the game, also said he's dipping, he's not working on the project right now. And obviously a bunch of videos are being made talking about it from various channels like Some Ordinary Gamers. Jane also claims that once Alex caught wind of the video coming out, he threatened legal action. And there's also this message of Alex basically trying to get her to say he lied the whole time and that it was all made up from the start. As for the prior copyright strike, a post was later made by someone who claims to be posting for Jane, which gives an explanation about how she was actually the one to strike the video. She also makes the claim here that Ali MCC was told that she did not want the video posted and decided to post it anyway against the victim's wishes, which, if true, would reflect very poorly on Ali MCC. And there are some screenshots included that seem to indicate that, you know, this claim is real, is true, is fact-checked by American Patriots, basically. So it seems like the victim at one point wanted this information in the video, and then once the video was out, or just prior to it being released, didn't want the video out, and then she personally took it down via the DMCA system. So it was not Yandere Dev impersonating her, it was actually her.
What a twist!
So you've probably seen a TikTok claiming that Dev groomed a minor and there's video recordings of it. I'm the minor and I'd like to give my side of the story. First, here's proof of my identity. Same voices in the TikTok claiming that Dev is grooming a minor. And by the way, she included a Vocaroo recording and the voice does sound similar. I messaged Dev because I'm a fan. He usually doesn't do voice calls, but after 2 months, he finally agreed. He was so distant at first, but eventually he loosened up and started making jokes. Some of his jokes were so quotable, like on jaw, so I started recording our conversations so I could make soundboard buttons out of Dev's quotes. I really wasn't trying to bait him into saying bad things, but I did ask him suspicious questions to hear weird/funny answers. Like sometimes I asked about topics like age of consent because it's an inside joke between me and my friends. If he gave a silly answer, I would share it with my friends. One friend took some of his quotes way too seriously and started saying that he sounds like a predator and that we need to expose him. I have a hard time saying no, so I agreed to do what he said. Okay, interesting. I shared every recording to a YouTuber named Ali and she started making a video out of it. When Bug, the friend, started sharing clips of the video on TikTok, I realized that he was twisting it. In the video, Ali made it seem like Dev sought me out and called me, which isn't true. I DM'd him first, I called him, not the other way around. I decided that the whole thing was blowing up in a really stupid way and told everyone involved that I didn't want them to use my illegally taken recordings to make a video anymore. Ali really wants to release the video though, so she keeps trying to manipulate me into thinking I'm a grooming victim. Even after I revoked my consent and told her to stop multiple times, she still plans to release the video. Girls at school saw the TikToks and they recognized my voice, so now this stuff has spilled over into my real life. Ali says she's making this video to protect victims, but if she releases the video, things will just get worse for me at school and hurt his career. I keep trying to say all this in their subreddit, but they ban me and delete my threads when I do. It's ironic that they call this place North Reddit, but they're silencing me just because I'm not supporting their narrative. Here are screenshots of times when I told Ali not to use any of my recordings, and she totally ignored my wishes. Note the super manipulative language she uses. So gross. I do not think that Dev is a groomer. I do not feel traumatized by him, and I'm making this post to say that I oppose what Ali is doing, and no matter what she does to protect my identity, she's still harming me by releasing this video. Now, this girl also included some screenshots of her interactions with Ali, showing basically Ali not wanting to listen to her when she's saying she didn't want the situation to be public before the video even came out, which obviously reflects poorly on Ali MCC. It's also interesting that the victim is now, or I guess the supposed victim is now claiming that she's not even a victim in the first place, and that nothing weird happened, she doesn't feel groomed, it was just a bunch of weird jokes, right? That's kind of the claim that she's making now. Now, Ali acknowledged these images were real and admitted wrongdoing. Whether you want to accept that is up to you, but according to Ali, the victim is now cool with the video being up, and it's on YouTube now for everyone to see. It seems like she decided to walk back her prior stance and is now cool with the video being up and is fine with the consequences. And so the voice recordings and everything are available on YouTube right now. Now, keep in mind this girl's voice is put through a filter to conceal her identity, but some of the clips from this video are absolutely rank, smelly, stank, disgusting, okay? Really, just really not good. Like, this guy needs to make some friends, okay? Holy sh...
Hi.
Hello there.
How are you?
It's an average day for me.
You probably have like a whole tree of things
Yeah.
with all their little branches of ideas, all that. Because you have been working on the game since I was 7?
I've been working on it
Wow.
for, I've been working on it since 2014.
Oh yeah, I was 7. I was 7.
Here,
Now, all of this came out and was covered in a bunch of YouTube videos talking about it. You know, the classic titles like Yandere Dev is finished, Yandere Dev is officially over. What is the future of Yandere Sim? I'm honestly surprised we didn't get like a Losers Creeps Speedos thumbnail of Yandere Dev, but if somebody wants to do that, I'm not going to crunk your swag, okay? Listen, the Turkey Tom Empire completely condones your use of the LCP intellectual property, okay? No credit needed. Just throw in a little meme making fun of me in there, maybe, in the video. I feel like that'd be good. But all of this came out, and Alex released 2 statements about it on his website. One statement titled, "I'm sorry," and another statement titled, "Moving Forward." And they're quite long, and we're going to read them right now. Bo Black style. Hi, you've probably heard some really concerning stuff over the last few days. You might have seen a video that has left you feeling worried, disappointed, and wondering what I have to say for myself. There's a part of me that wants to say, no, you don't understand, the video was edited in an extremely dishonest and misleading way, blah, 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 but no, I'm not going to focus on that. There's a part of me that wants to do what I usually do and type out a massive essay where I over-explain absolutely every single detail about the entire situation, provide context to absolutely everything, go point by point down the list of every possible fact that could make the situation easier to understand. But no, I'm not going to do that. This isn't a blog post about how, actually, you see, I didn't really do anything all that bad if you consider all the facts. I'm just going to take accountability and own up to a really, really huge mistake that I've made. A few months back, a fan of the game DM'd me and wanted to chat. I normally just turn fans away and tell them I'm busy, but in this case, the fan seemed really funny and interesting, so I agreed to talk. After around 2 months, I agreed to do a voice chat with her. Right off the bat, she let me know she was 16. At the time, I didn't even perceive this as a problem. What do I care what her age is? She's just a funny fan of the game who wants to talk to me. This is no big deal. I rationalized this to myself that it was fine. This was massive mistake number 1. More to follow. We talked for a while, and eventually, I started to feel really comfortable speaking to her. I started talking to her the same way I would speak to any of my other friends. Like she was one of the guys. I made the same type of vulgar jokes that I make when voice chatting with my other friends. This was an absolutely unacceptable mistake. No grown-up should ever use adult language or make adult jokes in the presence of a minor. Just because I felt really comfortable speaking to her, that doesn't make it okay. That's no excuse, not in the slightest. Occasionally, she would say something flirty towards me. Most of the time, I would shut that down immediately and refuse to reciprocate. However, there were times when I didn't shut it down and let her talk to me that way without stopping her. Obviously, it goes without saying that this was absolutely not okay. This was the point in time when I should have instantly disengaged and ended all contact with her. In any interaction between an adult and a minor, it is the adult's responsibility to put an immediate stop to any inappropriate behavior. There is absolutely no excuse for tolerating this as if it was okay. I didn't want to be a buzzkill, or I didn't want to ruin the vibes, or we were just having a lighthearted, jokey conversation. I didn't really feel like anything wrong was happening, or not acceptable excuses in the slightest. So here he seems to, I mean, at the very least, like, accept that there's definitely some level of inappropriate contact here. What he doesn't seem to acknowledge, though, is like the conversations about how he's like talking about how he like could get lewd images out of the interaction or whatever, and talking about the age of consent. Like, it doesn't just seem like jokes. It seems like there is some intent there with this girl, right? At some point, she started recording our conversation so that she could share my jokes with her friends. However, one of her friends interpreted my remarks as showing interest in her. They convinced her that I was trying to groom her and that she should release all of the recordings to expose me. Her friend pressured her into providing the recordings to a drama YouTuber who began producing a video about the situation. A preview of the video revealed that the intention of the video would be to characterize me as a predator/groomer by presenting clips of the conversation that sounded sexual. Obviously, it doesn't matter how the recordings were made public because the entire situation should have never been allowed to happen in the first place. I'm just explaining why such a video even exists. Watching the recordings of the way I interacted with her has been mortifying for me. I keep thinking I actually did that, and you goddamn idiot, whenever I'm reminded of something inappropriate that I said in conversation with her. I'm not going to spend a million years belaboring this point, but I want you to know that I've been kicking myself nonstop since the situation happened. I feel disgust and disappointment in myself on a level that I have never before felt in my entire life. It was foolish, extremely damn foolish, for me to think to myself that it was possible to rationalize an adult becoming friends with a minor, because no matter what the adult's intentions are in the beginning, there are so many potential things that can go wrong involving an adult and a minor alone together that these scenarios should never have been allowed to happen in the first place. Extremely foolish, okay? Listen, insane amount of dev foolery going on here. Not to mention the inherent power imbalance, etc. I could write out every single reason why an adult and a minor can't have a meaningful friendship, but then this blog post would be twice as long. I mean, the thing is, I feel like an adult and a minor can have a meaningful friendship, just as long as there's no weird conversations about sex going on, right? I feel like there are probably adults you can like become friends with that like will probably not do this kind of stuff. You know, there are like mentors and people in my life that have been older than me and have helped me a lot when I was a kid and they were adults, and none of them made comments like this to me, you know? Over the years, a lot of people have contacted me to tell me that they look up to me. They said they admire me, that I inspired them. Right now, I'm thinking about all the people who have ever said those words to me, and I realize that my actions have completely invalidated their words. No, someone who makes this kind of mind-numbingly stupid mistake is not admirable or inspiring. I let the fans down. I keep saying that to myself over and over. Years of trying my best to prove that I'm not the bad guy that people say I am, and then I go and screw up so badly that I've retroactively vindicated some of the hate that has been directed at me. It's ironic. I've always tried so hard to disprove the hateful remarks that people make about me by doing the opposite of what they expect of me. For example, if people say I'm lazy, I respond by working more hours than usual. If people say I'm greedy, I respond by turning down opportunities to make money. If people say I'm interested in minors, I respond by adding rules to my Discord server to actively discourage minors from participating. At every turn, I try my absolute best to disprove every ignorant and hateful false accusation that people make about me. And now, look what I've gone and done. Instead of doing everything in my power to disprove the allegations that I'm attracted to kids, I made some remarks that sound really, really, really questionable. I'm not even going to say it only sounds bad because it's out of context. If only you had the context, you'd understand that it wasn't so bad. I'm just going to own up to this one. The fact that it even happened at all is bad, regardless of the context. There's no excuse. It is an outright fuck up, pure and simple. After this video went public, some of the game's volunteers started receiving harassment and abusive messages. Several of them have already contacted me to inform me that they can no longer be associated with me or my project and want me to remove their assets from the game. I get it. There's a part of me that wants to profusely beg them to reconsider, but whatever they decide, I'm going to respect their wishes. It's one thing to make a stupid mistake that results in self-humiliation. It's another thing to make a mistake that affects all of the people who associate with me. However, it's a mistake on an entirely different level to make a mistake that involves an inappropriate interaction with a minor. At this point in time, it's difficult to determine exactly how much this is going to impact the development of Yandere Simulator. If I have to replace huge numbers of assets, hundreds of voice-acted lines, for example, I won't lie, that's going to be a pretty big setback. I really only have myself to blame for it, though. For what it's worth, I'd like to make you aware of the fact that the fan I spoke to has expressed her feelings of the situation. You can find her post here. In the post he linked here is a Reddit post, and it's the one about Ali MCC posting the video regardless of the victim's wishes or whatever, basically. And yeah, it's that one that we already read. I feel like it's going to take a really long time for me to forgive myself for such a stupid mistake, but as a first step, I've donated $1,000 to RAIN, an organization that provides care and benefits to survivors of abuse. Yo, he got that dono on lock. Yo, he donating to the victims and he's saving the West. Yeah, I don't really know. Like, people always do this in these situations. It's like, I've donated $1,000 to a charity because I did something bad. And, like, people, like, seem to accept that. Now, that post was made on September 25th, and a new post was made on October 1st, 2023, where he talks about his behavior again. And all of that was based off of the information coming out, mostly before there were a ton of YouTube videos about it. Now, given it's all blown up, he seems to somewhat accept that his time as a developer for this game should probably come to an end. And if he continues developing, then the game is going to be ruined forever. I think he's probably like irreparably tarnished his brand. I don't think there's any way he can really save it at this point. I don't think that he should be working on this project. I don't think he should be like managing a community Discord, I guess. I don't think he should be even like running a YouTube channel, to be honest, with this kind of thing going on. Like, he says it's not grooming. I don't really know what the actual definition is here because there doesn't seem to be any like sexting going on, but there undoubtedly are a ton of like gross, weird conversations, jokes pushing the line. It seems to almost be him like prodding her to see what she's comfortable with, and who knows what would have happened if this wasn't brought to light when it was. Who knows how far he would have gone, you know? I don't totally trust that he would have not done something even worse. I've been exhibiting horribly self-destructive behavior on a regular basis for a long time now. As a result of the many conversations I've had over the past few days, I think I can pinpoint the cause. My downward spiral is the result of consistently making incredibly unwise lifestyle choices that have caused my mental health to deteriorate massively over time. It didn't hit me until recently just how bad things have gotten. I haven't left the house since July 2019, no real life acquaintances, 16 plus hours on the computer every day, no vacations in half a decade, prioritizing work above my physical health. It shouldn't have been any surprise whatsoever that when you allow both your body and mind to completely waste away, you dissolve into a mistake machine, a person that is capable of nothing but bad decisions who exists solely to cause problems for others. So he's basically saying he's been terminally online for 4 years, not even leaving the house, like he just orders groceries. I don't even want to know what this dude looks like right now. I mean, 4 years of not leaving the house, I'm sure will do wonders to your physiology physiognomy, okay? This guy is, he's definitely in a dark place, okay? A lot of people will be like, oh, I was in a dark place. Like, that's not an excuse. But he definitely is in a dark place, probably because he hasn't turned a light on inside his house for, like, years. Jesus, this guy, like, needs some serious help, bro. There's something very wrong with him. Very, very wrong.
All that glitters is gold.
Since the last blog post, a lot of people have reached out to me to share the same advice. See a therapist. Get hobbies that don't involve a computer or TV screen. Step away from game development for a few months. All of it can be summarized as start making healthy life choices that will turn you into more of a normal human being. And honestly, I can't argue with that. This might sound like a really random time to launch into an anecdote, but I'd like to mention something really quick. Okay, before he mentions this anecdote, I'm confused by how this game is not done. Like if he's working 16 hours a day for 4 years, I mean, I know game development is hard, but he's got people helping him. He's working on it, I mean, presumably every day, like for hours and hours on end. Like, could this not be done by now? Is it just such an ambitious project? There's no way it could be done. I mean, I really don't understand how this game is not done like 10 years later. Like, within 10 years, you got to have figured it out, right? Recently, somebody messaged me to tell me something. A few years ago, when his girlfriend was on the verge of suicide, she sent me a fan mail. I responded to her to thank her for the kind words. Apparently, this cheered her up so much that she stopped thinking about it. She's still alive today. He just wanted to tell me thank you for saving my girlfriend's life. I keep thinking about that story and other stories like it. Times when someone reached out to let me know that I cured their depression or saved their life. Those stories make me feel like I have the potential to affect the world in a positive way. But that's only if I stop making such dumb decisions all the time. And I can only stop making dumb decisions if I get healthy. And the only way to get healthy is to start making healthier life choices. If I want to do more good than harm to the world, I have to get my head straight. That might involve spending less time at the PC, less time on the internet, and less time developing the game. A lot of people have been asking me if the recent controversy will cause me to stop developing the game or give the game away to another developer. I'm not ready to answer those questions. I would need to do a tremendous amount of thinking before I can make any monumental decision like that. I mean, honestly, I think he needs to stop developing the game. I just don't see how he could be good for the game at this point. Like, this will tarnish the brand forever, right? Like, no matter how good the game is in the future, people can always point to this and be like, oh, remember that time he, groomed a 16-year-old, right? That's what people are going to say. I feel like he should just sell it or something. I really enjoy working on Yandere Simulator. If I didn't, then I wouldn't be willing to do it continuously for 9 years. The thought of taking time away from it makes me feel incredibly sad. But neglecting every aspect of my mental and physical health has caused me to devolve into a danger to myself and others, and it's not something I would want to be. I don't want to step away from development, but perhaps I should, at least long enough to decide the best way to proceed from here. The project doesn't need to outright die, but it definitely should be paused until I've made significant progress towards evolving into a much healthier person. Over the years, Yandere Simulator and myself have been through countless controversies. I'm sorry for not properly addressing most of them and for responding to some of those controversies in ways that only made things worse. There are still a lot of things I want to address in a proper manner one day, but now is not the time. I don't know, I feel like this is kind of the controversy to end all controversies. Like, could anyone power through? Yes. Like, if you make fire content, if you make a really great game, chances are people will play it regardless, right? Like, they're not going to care that much. In the long term or big picture, I think a lot of people can separate sort of the creator from their creation, right? Like, a lot of famous musicians are super effed up people and people still like their music, right? And so from that perspective, like, could he be fine? Yes. But from his perspective, I think he should just not anymore. I think he should just not and get someone new, right? I think that would be best case scenario, honestly. I'd like to thank the animators, artists, composers, modelers, voice actors, and YouTubers who helped to make Yandere Simulator into what it is today. Shout out Markiplier. How's it going, everybody? Markiplier here. Shout out PewDiePie. Holy shit, I'm so sick. Dude, that sounded so effed up.
I sound like I've been smoking for 87 years.
Even if we won't continue on this journey together, I'll always remain thankful to you for the assistance that you once granted me. I received a lot of messages since the last blog post. Many of them were harsh, rightfully so, but there were a lot of messages equivalent to, I want to see you improve your mental health and finish the game. I've been following the project for 8 years, and I don't want to see it end like this. Yandere Simulator's audience has shrunken over the years, but despite everything, there are still a lot of people in this world who love it. They love the characters, the setting, and the story. They enjoy speculating about what will happen towards the end of the game, what occurred in the unrevealed parts of the backstory, and what plot twists might be waiting in the lore. They want to learn how Aishi condition began, what secrets these Japanese names, dude. What secrets the Saiku family is hiding, or is it Saikou? What secrets the Saikou family is hiding, and what is underneath the cherry tree? I imagine cherries, bro. I don't want to let them down. I owe it to them for giving me 9 years of their attention. I owe them answers, I owe them satisfaction, and I owe them closure. I don't want to cancel the game. I want to keep developing it, but I don't think I can do it if I keep being a mistake machine. I need to find a much better work-life balance because the current balance of 100 to 0 has led me to nothing but a severely damaged psyche and behavior that is as destructive to others as it is to myself. Imagine if he like gets jacked and like actually gets like in really good shape and like he comes back and he's like normal or something. That would be crazy. Probably not gonna happen, but that would be crazy. I can't guarantee when will be the next time that I'll write a blog post. I'm not even sure what the next blog post will be about. A big announcement, a bug fixing build, or something completely different. It's hard to tell what the future is going to hold, but I just wanted to let you know that I probably won't be posting as frequently as I previously was, or updating the game as frequently as I previously was either. All of the steps that I need to take to become a better person involve spending less time in this chair and more time outdoors. During my time away, I'll be spending a lot of time thinking about exactly how I should proceed from this point forward. I'll be considering all possible options, even the uncomfortable ones, such as reducing the scope of the game to make it into a project that will be much easier to finish with limited resources, and the absolute last resort of handing off development to someone else. Okay, so I was totally wrong before I read this post. I was told that it seemed like he was gonna take a step back and maybe not develop the game. He does not want to give up development. He wants to keep making this game as long as he possibly can. He keeps saying like, ooh, maybe I could give it off to someone else, but I don't really know. I don't really want to. Like, he definitely does not want to stop developing this game. I don't even think he's gonna give it up at this point, okay? Which like is sympathetic a little bit because like it's been the past 10 years of his life. Like a third of his life has been spent making this game. But also like, bro, you just, I don't know. I think you gotta go. I think you gotta go. What it's worth, I apologize for everything, and I thank you for following the development of Yandere Simulator. To me, it's clear that Yandere Simulator is a complete, terminally online individual at this point. In other words, a complete loser, and that's not an excuse for why he did what he did. If anything, it just adds to the embarrassment. This is a guy who, despite being considered a lolcow by a lot of the internet, despite video after video making fun of him, calling him an incompetent programmer, a poor game designer, despite the heaps of mockery and ridicule, he still miraculously like has a fan base. For almost 10 years he's been making this game, which honestly is kind of dated in concept, so it's surprising to me that it still has this loyal fan base. But regardless, he kept it together for this long. He kept his community of people who love this stuff, and if he did finish the game, he would undoubtedly get a bunch of money, get untold opportunities to keep making other stuff he's passionate about, and he could coast off of that for quite a while. Instead, he decided to squander that because he was lonely and a 16-year-old messaged him, and he decided to respond. It's embarrassing, it's pathetic, it's sad, and he deserves like pretty much every bit of shit he may get from this situation. I'm not even intimately familiar with Yandere Sim. Like, I'm not a fan. I'm not really into anime culture stuff, okay, which like this definitely seems to fall into that category. And even back in the day, like when I was watching Let's Plays and I would see like PewDiePie and Markiplier playing this game, I just saw like an anime girl in the thumbnail and I immediately tuned it out because I don't like anime. I'm sorry to disappoint the viewers at home. I don't really like anime. There's like a few good ones I've seen, but like I have no desire to really watch more, to be honest. And before all the people in the comment section are like, oh, you should watch this anime, you should watch this anime, dude, just don't, okay? You're wasting your breath. Instead, type about how awesome I am, okay? That's what you should be doing. Now, as a final note to end this video on, I did manage to get an interview from Cameron, someone who was working on the game and was good friends with Yandere Dev, at least according to him. And I just wanted to get his perspective as someone on the inside on this situation and see what he thinks about all of it. All right, we're here with Cam, and from what I understand, Cam, you were friends with Alex Yandere Dev for 3 or 4 years, and you were working with him as well, right?
Yeah, I'm the former lead composer and production assistant.
Gotcha.
Which is,
And,
it feels weird to say former still. Not used to that.
Yeah. I mean, you're what, 20? So you were working this job for like a lot of your teen years.
Yeah, around there. Yeah, it was a while. It was kind of a dream job. It was a nice jump start into a music career. Like no matter what anyone's perception was, I got in before like all the crap blew up, but it was good. And like that was my thing. It was like it was a good job and it helped me get a good scholarship. So I mean, I don't regret it.
And it was like a paid job?
Yeah.
That's good. Okay.
It started off as volunteer work, and then it turned into commissions because
right. Right. Well, in the time you knew Alex, could you? I don't know. I guess it's kind of hard to say. Did you see this coming? But I mean, did you did this shock you at all?
Yeah, this shocked me. I know that there was the previous case. I hadn't learned about it until 2020. And I obviously naturally got scared and started digging into it myself. And then it got to the point where I couldn't find any real proof of it. So the only people that I could really go to were Yandev, his friends, and then the people that this individual was with in like his rival stream group. Like this was in 2009, so this was a long time ago.
Yeah.
So I had to track those people down. I did detective work. I spoke to them, and they kind of confirmed that it wasn't what people were saying it was, and it was more of a trolling attempt, and there was no real underage thing going on there.
So there was some previous allegation from back in the day that was not real?
Yeah, it turned out to be like there was a thing that happened with someone being flirtatious in chat to Yandev, but there weren't no claim of underage, and it was like it maybe lasted for a week, and then they just disappeared or something along those lines. And then both sides corroborated that story for me. So even the people who still hate his guts corroborated that to me.
Okay.
But yeah, it took freaking months to track them down.
Gotcha. So
I did it, so I didn't lose my career.
So with the new stuff, obviously I guess kind of lost your job now as a result of this stuff happening. What was your initial reaction to hearing about all of this?
Disbelief. More so that I genuinely, I knew him at that point. Me and him had gotten close. And I wanted him to be honest with me and tell me straightforward. And I was pretty upset with what he told me, and I was kind of like frozen, like, okay, what do I do? Like, where do I go from here? What can he do? What is and this is just his side, what's the full side? And he pretty much gave me the full synopsis. Of course, it wasn't nearly as bad as I, later come to understand it, but it weirded me out, and it was upsetting, and I don't think that's who he is as a person per se, but he definitely needs help. He definitely needs to get help. And I mean, he just posted a blog post the other night saying he's getting help, which is good, and I hope he gets better, but it's upsetting.
So in these blog posts, one of the things he says is he's like, there was no actual, like, quote-unquote grooming going on. We were just friends, and I would make a lot of, like, sort of lewd jokes or stuff like that. I know he said that, but there is one DM where he's talking to her about specifically pictures. And he's like, well, the only thing I could get out of this is, like, lewd pictures or whatever. So to me, like, I mean, maybe actual sexting didn't happen, but to me it seems like there was some attempt from him to try and get, like, pictures in some way, or, like, I think if he had gotten them, I don't think he would have complained, and he basically says that much.
Yep, I agree with that. Yeah, from what I understand is, I mean, that wording absolutely implies that. Well, his explanation originally to me was that he was trying to be dismissive without, like, shutting them down completely because he didn't want to, like.
I know he said that, but, like,
but that doesn't,
what he types doesn't really line up.
Still, it doesn't. You can't type that. And it was very clear that whether or not his intent was to be dismissive, he definitely wouldn't have minded if it happened.
Yeah,
it seems.
Yeah,
which was upsetting.
Can you attest anything to, he's been talking about his lifestyle in these blog posts, talking about working for 16 hours a day for the past, like, 4 years. Do you think that's accurate?
Yeah, I can corroborate it. I mean, there was oftentimes, at least daily, like at least 3 times a day, 3 separate times in the day, him and I would get in voice chat with some of our friends, and he would usually stream himself working, and he was working, and when I left the house to go to the gyms, lecture, grocery shopping, hang out with friends, life stuff, he would either still be in there or working on his own thing and talking to volunteers and whatnot. So that is true. And I know he hasn't left his house since June of 2019, because June of 2019 was the last anime expo he attended. And
when you say leave his house, does he mean, like, literally, like, he orders groceries, he doesn't open the door? Like, what does that mean?
Well, yeah, as far as I understand, yeah, he orders food, groceries, etc. And he does not leave the house. He just doesn't have time in his eyes.
Gotcha. Well, I guess with that out of the way, I think the big question a lot of people are asking is, like, what is the path forward? I think he probably, and this is like kind of an uncomfortable truth, I guess, but I feel like if he did keep working on the game when he gets back and he finished it and it was good, I think people would play it regardless of what he did. But what do you think he should do? Should he quit working on the game and sell it to someone else to finish it?
The thing with that is I don't think if he is on the project, some of the YouTubers would still play it.
Yeah, that's true.
Because the big YouTubers, like one of my friends, Bijou Mike, is a big Yandere Sim YouTuber. he doesn't feel comfortable playing the project after that. No matter, and he enjoyed the game, he liked it, and so same with another YouTuber, Cub Scouts, and a lot of other big Yandere Simulator YouTubers or just YouTubers who got big with the game. They have all like stepped away from it, and I completely understand it. The thing is, if he does get better and he can prove himself in some way, because thank God it didn't get, like, it got bad, right? It's bad. What he did was bad, inexcusable, wrong. But thank God it didn't cross the line to, like, really gross stuff that you see, like, with EDP and Minilad and whatnot. Because if that was the case, there'd be no chance of recovery, in my opinion. He's got, like, the slimmest chance of recovery from this, in my opinion. But I think if he's really passionate, he can do it. However, I would personally say it'd probably be best for the game's future and the game's success if it was handed off to a company or something along those lines.
Do you think he would do that?
From what I understand, that is a consideration he's willing to make for the game.
Because I would imagine his ego is somewhat tied to this, considering it's been like his life for 10 years of his adult life.
That's true. I mean, it's something he really cares about, and it's not his first choice, but it's something that he will consider, absolutely. I wish it wasn't such a last resort, but I understand why to him it would be.
Are you going to keep talking to him if he does get better and be his friend?
If he proves himself to continue to be better. Like, I want to support him getting better, but I can't. I've made it very clear, and I've been really, obviously hard on him about it because, I can't support that. My main worry is that I've been slowly distancing myself from him over time. Not completely, because I just want to lend a hand, and if he needs it, in a way. I completely understand if some people find that to be strange, but it's more because me and him were really tight, and it's like when you have someone like that you're that close with make such a massive mistake, and you see how they are, and you see the person you want them to be better. You want them to continue being the person you knew. And I guess that's kind of that's like the little carrot on the stick that's still like making me want to reach out. I'll support him getting better, but I won't continue sticking around if he continues an unhealthy lifestyle.
Do you know if he's actually done anything to change as far as going to therapy and just like getting offline?
As of right now, he's spent a lot less time on the game. He's kind of finishing up because obviously a lot of people have left, and some of them want their stuff removed from the game, and then some people have offered to replace those things. So from what I understand and what he said in his blog post as well, that's the extent of how he's working right now. And then once all that's taken care of, his break will officially begin. But he hasn't been active on Discord or anything like that for about a day. So,
gotcha. Okay. Are there any final like notes you want to end off, like I guess your statement on as far as like your involvement or anything you want to clear up or tell the audience?
Yeah, I know for a lot of years I'd spent some time defending him, and I stand by a lot of what I had said previously because, a lot of it there was a lot of nothing burgers, to be honest, and a lot of things that I think he could have responded to better. Like, if he responded to those things like he responded to this, then he probably wouldn't be in such a big hole. But I just would say don't kick someone when they're down. I know what he did was gross and wrong, and it is completely valid to not support him anymore because I'm on that train right now. Like I don't think what he did was right at all, and I'm hurt by it. I'm extremely hurt by it, and no apology will fully fix that. And I also, I've talked to, and I'm still in contact with the girl involved, and she doesn't see it as much of a big deal, but I feel like it's because she's young. I don't know. It just, A, don't kick someone when they're down, but B, it's completely fine to not support someone. Just don't go out with flames,
Right.
That's me.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for your statement, buddy. I'm going to go ahead and end the interview, but yeah, thanks for coming on.
No problem.
With that out of the way, I think it's clear to everyone that Yandere Dev does need some time off. If anything, he probably should just off forever and become a normie and try to become like a normal, functional member of society. Obviously, a lot of people want him in jail. I don't think that's going to happen, though, based on everything I know right now. I don't think he's going to see any charges or anything, so within the amount of options we do have, I think he should quit the internet stuff and just go be a normal person. Hopefully, in time, people can forget about all the bullshit he was involved in, and hopefully, he will not do what he did again. As for Yandere Sim, I feel like the brand is kind of tarnished at this point. I think people would still play it because, I mean, people will play or watch anything regardless of the creator and how effed up they are. But I feel like on a personal level, I would like him to step away. If he could manage to sell it to someone who could make it a genuinely good game and actually finish it and just take over development, then I feel like that's not a horrible idea. At least that way, the fans can actually get something like he wants. And, you know, after 10 years, all this turmoil and drama and bullshit doesn't have to be for nothing. I've been Tom Dark. Thanks for snoozing. And until Gex time, squeeze me a bone. And if you liked this video, consider becoming a member. For $5 a month, you get access to exclusive podcasts, unreleased videos, and the members-only Minecraft server. Thanks so much to all of my YouTube members who fund my content.